Hi, welcome to Tea Time. So I recorded this already, but it was too long. So I'm gonna break it up into parts. So this will be part one. I'll drop part two probably tomorrow, part three on Sunday. So part one of the love, marriage, relationships, and threefold core is I'm just gonna talk about those three things and maybe one question. So one of the questions that we got initially is what is love? Some say love is an emotion. I disagree with that. I don't think that love is an emotion. I think God is love first and foremost. Secondly, I think that love is an action. Love is patient, which is an action. Kind, gentle, keeps no record of wrong, does not envy, doesn't boast. It's always doing something. So love to me is an action. It never fails, which means it is winning. It always prevails. And so love to me is an action. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, but love is also a choice. We choose to love. We choose to love people on different levels. We don't love grandma and husband the same way. We don't love, friend and wife the same way. And so with love, we choose. We choose to love on different surfaces, on different levels. And so I think that love, first and foremost, God is love. Secondly, love is an action. And thirdly, love is a choice. We choose to love. And in that, we choose to love our neighbors as ourselves. We choose to love our enemies, so it can't be an emotion. Because who wants to love their enemies? Just naturally, you just love the person that just is a thorn in your side. No, it's a choice. You choose to take the forgiveness in your heart, and you choose to love your neighbors. You choose to love your brothers and sisters, even when they make you mad, even when you want to kill them. You choose to love them. So then we have one of the threefold core, which I do want to talk about first in the first video. Threefold core. Threefold core is the Lord being intertwined in your relationship. So if you think about it like hair. So if you twist hair into two strings and you flop around for a little while, it may come loose. But if you braid it like your box braids or your big jumbo braids, once you braid it, that hair is so intertwined that you have to literally take a comb and pick it and your fingernails to take it loose. It takes a lot to get loose. It's not easily broken. It's not easily untangled. And so the Lord wants to be entangled and enwrapped and engulfed and intertwined in our lives in every relationship that we have, because if He is in the midst of it, is in the middle of it, intertwined in it, then it's easy for us to come out, victorious when we get into beef and when we get into strife and when we get into all the negative things that we have going on. It's easy to succeed and to have somebody praying for you when you have the Lord as the foundation and as the in the inner parts of those relationships. And so with that comes, when you love somebody, you got the Lord intertwined, your relationships start to mirror each other. So your relationship with the Lord begins to be mirrored in your personal relationship with the person next to you, with your friends and with your neighbors and with your spouses. That stuff begins to mirror, because if you're constantly talking to the Lord, then you're constantly talking to the people, here. But if you find that communication this way is cut off, then chances are the communication that way isn't being had, because He wants to be involved in our relationships. And so we have to get with Him in order for our relationships to be effective and for them to work and for them to be to work for good and to be for a greater purpose than just personal satisfaction and personal fulfillment. So I think I'll hit one of my questions today. The question was, how do you manage your emotions when in your marriage where your spouse doesn't share his heart, share their heart? They don't like to talk about life, and goals. Is it okay to plan for yourself as long as you get your spouse's approval? So it's a long question, but it's an awesome question. We got one very similar. Is how do you manage to talk when your husband is not a talker? So first thing that people like to jump to is emotional abandonment. It could be emotional abandonment, but it may not be. Only you would know that. Only you and your spouse would know that answer to that question. But when you find yourself in that situation, you have to agree. You have to make a conscious decision to agree to talk. You got to make it an effort, a conscious effort. If you want to attempt to change, you have to at least try. So you make the decision to talk, but before you talk, and once that agreement has been made, write out what it is that you want to say, the things that are on your heart, the things that are trouble you, your hurts and your pain, and the stuff that you want to express, and then present that to the other person. your concerns, your expectations, be honest, and in your honesty, don't be malicious or hurtful, but be direct, and also be gentle, because it is somebody else. You don't want to offend the other person. You don't want to offend your friend. You don't want to offend your spouse. You want to be, as gentle as you can, while still conveying your thoughts and your heart to the next person. And so when you communicate clean, clear, and complete. I think that is the best way to do it. And then allow room for the other party to express their feelings about it. And then once the conversation is over, you begin to meet their needs. You begin to do the thing that they express to you. You begin to do that thing to make it better. And so you have to go into in that you have to go into the conversation ready to forgive and ready to apologize if need be. You don't know if you offended somebody, because sometimes, especially with men, if you offend a man, he'll hold it all day and he'll never let you know that you hurt him, because he's a man. He's a man's man. And so I think that if we go into the conversations ready to forgive and ready to accomplish the things that that he's let you know that you could do better, or that you can't, you go out and you work on you. You meet his needs and you work on you. The only person that you're accountable for in the relationship is yourself. You can't make him change, or you can't make her change. The only person that you can change in a relationship is yourself. So you go in there, you re-engage your spouse, you re-engage, you start acting kindly, you choose, you make that choice, that conscious choice to love, and then allow the Lord to work out the rest of it. Because I know before you even get to the point of trying to figure it out, you've prayed and you've prayed and you've prayed. And so now it's time for you to trust. You go through the process, you let him know what's going on, what's in your heart, what's in your mind. You're gentle, you're clear, and then you engage him, he engages you, and then you just trust the Lord to work the rest of it out, because he's not a God that he should lie. He'll never leave you or forsake you. And so as far as the part about not making plans, maybe he's just not a planner. It doesn't mean that he doesn't enjoy it, or he doesn't love it, or he doesn't matter to him. He just may naturally not be a planner. And so because he's naturally not a planner, then it's going to be hard for him to do something that he's not naturally structured. He could just trust your judgment enough to say, hey, babe, you got it. You're great at this. I trust you. Just do it. I'm taking my hands off. It's just not my area of expertise. I know that's how it works in our house. There's certain things Rama just doesn't get involved with, and vice versa. Certain things that I don't get involved with. And so you go into it not nagging, not saying, hey, you need to do better, this, that, and the other. You go into it ready, doing your part, not putting expectations on the next person, because sometimes expectations leave you down and defeated and left out to dry. But if you do your part and accept what is and what isn't, and I think it's perfectly fine for you to make plans for what you think is appropriate for now, and you let him know, and you let her know, and you go for it, not having any expectations on the next person, but only expecting things out of yourself, because the only person in the relationship you can change is you. So I think that it is perfect to make plans for yourself, and not have to have somebody else there for it to be successful. And 9 times out of 10, once they see your effort and they see your drive and they see your love and they see that she's still trying to work on us, she's still giving her all to us, and she's also dedicating time to herself or himself, then it makes them engage, because you can't ignore effort. So this is part 1 of Tea Time. I'm going to drop this. Please leave comments so that I can address any comments from this video in the second video, and I'm going to keep it rolling. So again, see you for part 2 of Tea Time.